Hey guys, Tommy G, Middle-Aged Millennial. Where am I? I'm at the same place that I always am. I am on the Gold Coast and looking at the lens rather than looking at me. So, let me just turn the volume down on my cue. So, we have Peter Rouse, the Rouster, in the house, and we are bad to the core, as in if you've got a bad broken core. And there he is. He's waiting in the wings, waiting to get in there. So we're going to be talking about some corrective stuff today. A little different from the heavy genetic stuff that we did talk about last week, which seems to have been held up at the 20-minute mark for some reason. Maybe they just changed that. I don't know. But who knows what Facebook is happy or not happy about these days. Anyway, we're going to bring on Peter. So let me just move this around. Okay. As I fix up my little stand here. There we go. All right, my big finger's in the way. Sorry, guys. And let's bring on the man himself. It's not allowing him on, so I'm going to allow you to request there, Pete, to come on. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. We missed Mindful Monday yesterday. It was a bit of a sad day because someone had to depart the shores yesterday and was busy driving them to the airport at Brisbane. That was Anne Shivers who was visiting. We've done some joint stuff with her, as you know. And so that means that we're a little busy getting to the airport on time. So we are going to be talking about the core and probably going to set a theme for this week around making better choices, and going to see how we can apply that to each of our special speakers that we have each week. And Pete's having a problem getting on, which is kind of weird. Maybe I'm not allowed to interview people anymore. Matt Atanasio just came into the house as well. Just try, if you can, Pete. Again, I'm going to switch it on, switch it off for allowing viewers on. Maybe I'm being spanked and not allowed to interview people anymore. Who knows? Because I've been a bit mischievous. Hey, Matty. So we're, it was a big, wow. It was a big week last week. We had a lot of FB Lives. We got some Hill.me stuff happening. If you're not a member of the Hill.me community, you're also going to get access to some extra stuff. We're also going to be launching a new community this week, is the plan. Very exclusive community, specific around executives as well. So keep a lookout for that. And that's only going to have a certain number of people in it. And, well, executives, high-end executives, CEOs or VPs, some of which may be in the Hill.me community, but this is going to be more specifically tailored to executives. We have some people that are also going to be in that community that are specialists in their game, that are relevant to the exec community and program that I've got going at the moment. If you're interested in hearing about the exec program, then please let me know. But basically, we're helping executives regain their youthful vitality in 90 days. And there's some great tools that are involved in watching their telemetry and their biodata, their biometrics that we manage from the platform that we use, and also some great framework around mindset and getting them to make better choices around how to live a optimized life, balancing health and performance, and getting longevity and well-being. Finally, we get Pete in the house and on the stage at long last. Who knows what was happening there? So, what's up? What's up, Maddie? And Pete's going to be here any second. Yo! Pete, what's going on? Mate, finally.
I got the big Bose headphones on.
Oh, you showing off? Are they new toys?
No, old.
No. Okay. Old toys. Okay.
Just make it a little bit easier. I'm outside a little bit at the moment, so it makes it easier to
Right.
hear you.
Are you right? Are you in the $1 million gym that you have there in
Yeah,
your garage?
my garage gym. Yeah,
The garage gym from hell, more like it.
it's
I
a
mean,
crappy day out there today.
is it? Oh
Yeah,
yeah. Hey,
rain.
look, we got the same. Oh wow, it rained.
Yeah,
My
it's
God.
raining now.
Okay. Oh bugger. Okay. Well, we've got overcast. We had an amazing sunrise this morning, so I Instagrammed that. Yeah, she's a bit glum here too, but temperature's still nice, so I can still wear a tee outside and in fact
I'm
leave
still wearing a
the
t-shirt.
sliding doors open. There we go. All right. Yeah, it's a few degrees cooler where you are. What sort of
Yeah,
temperature you got going there in Queenstown?
I'd say it's probably about 12 degrees Celsius.
Oh, it's a little chilly for me, mate. We're about double that over here in the
This is
subtropics.
sun tanning weather here.
If you're a Kiwi, yeah, I'm sure it is. All right, mate. Bad to the core. And we got Maddie, rain here on the Atlantic. God, it's raining and overcast everywhere around the world. What's going on? We're surrounded by a cloud right now. So coming to us from the land of the long white cloud, the core. Tell us
Actually,
about the
remember
core. If I got a broken core, go on.
we're going to twist it around a little bit, and we're actually going to start more fundamentally with some activation control drills, which kind of breaks that down. So not doing the traditional core training per se, but let's look at what muscles are being shut down, which muscle may be inhibited, and reinitiating those into programming, for moving into more, kind of the core training that Matt would move into.
Right. So this is like a prehab type of thing, maybe.
Prehab
Fix something a bit broken before. Right.
Well,
or rehab. So you kind of get them ready for Matt. And then they go into Matt's gym and they start working out.
Exactly. So this is something that they can do at home or in the gym for training and stuff like that. We're going to go through in a moment anyway.
Sweet. All right, mate. So firstly, what is the core? A lot of people say core. It's like trunk. I just know trunk and whatever. And a lot of people wouldn't know. So
you can look at the core as being the local system and the global system. So those are two systems that function as the core. So the local system is the deeper muscles within there. Many people might know of the transverse abdominis, but there's other muscles involved with that. The global muscular system, you're looking at the external, internal obliques as well, but the internal obliques also tie into the local system.
Right.
Then the global system, you got the rectus abdominis.
I'm holding my gut in because there's like 2 kilos of extra New Zealand sitting on there still. At the
moment. We're having an ab pose down. Okay.
Oh no, you're gonna beat me. All right, go on.
I've just eaten lunch.
The muscles.
I've just eaten lunch.
Whoa, jeez. All right, you win. Hell, I wouldn't want to muck around with you, dude. You'd just break me like a twig.
That's after lunch.
Okay, well,
there we go. I had to stop it down quick today because I had to get on here with you.
All right, well, we've had a gut off and you win as usual. So, all right, so that's the core. Which part's the core? That's what I was going to do. I wasn't going to sort of like show off, but you have no choice. The core.
The challenge was there.
The challenge was it, yeah, of course, yeah. Take on the easy guy.
Yeah.
So
now, if you came back out with an 8-pack, I would go, okay, that looks good.
Okay, yeah, you win. Are you able to point out the core? Is this the trunk, the belly button, or around there, just so people know when they're going to...
Well, when we think about it, it's actually a lot larger than that then, because you're looking at muscle slings that involve with that too. So you've got slings across the body that integrate into that whole core development. So the core is not just what people think about as the abdominal complex, but involves the lumbar hip complex, involves a lot of lower body, upper body, lats, all that involved with it. So it's a little bit more involved than just that abdominal region. So muscle slings and stuff, that's kind of stuff that Matt would work into your training and developing that. So what we want to look at is, okay, what muscles are usually commonly inhibited either from an injury or from bad lifestyle. Sitting down 8-10 hours a day would kind of cause the same problems that would someone who had an injury, which is muscle inhibition.
Right. Okay.
So that muscle inhibition is something we want to address, and you need to get that corrected before you start kind of load on top of that. And Matt asked a question, difference between core stability and core strength. Now, core stability, if you think about it realistically, is the body's ability to react and stabilize. So it's the body's ability to react. The core strength, you're doing a controlled strength movement, then that's your expressed strength. Stability really comes down to that reactive forces. And when we're looking at that, for example, a lot of people are talking about lower back. Okay.
Yeah.
So the lower back, people forget that the lumbar spine only has 12 degrees of rotation. Remember, 5 degrees of that come from the sacral spine, from the sacral S1 and to L5. So those two, that's 5 degrees there. The rest are only 2 degrees. So you got very minimal amount of rotation from that lumbar there. So part of the core is to stabilize that so it doesn't over-rotate. So that's what Matt's talking about. Stability is the body's reaction. If I get a force come on to me through here and force me back, like this, then I'm reacting, and my core will come in and stabilize that movement.
Right. Okay.
Now, strength could be expression of strength. So strength meaning, like, for example, I get on the cable system over here.
Yeah.
And I come on here and I might do. So your example.
It's like a piece of torture equipment.
Oh, I won't tell you what I do with this thing. Okay, so
I don't know.
Wood chop type movement. So that's the expression of strength.
About your sex life. Yep.
We won't talk about that. So, so that's an expression of strength because I'm not doing reactive.
Wood chop, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But then, what happens if I do this? And this is something Matt will be more familiar with. If I'm taking this, I'm not going to get this too heavy. Okay. I'm coming here, over here. I bend forward from the hips. So I'm actually bending forward like this. Okay.
Right.
So I'm bending forward, but then I let go.
Right.
And then as I come up, it's pulling me up, and then I had to react to stop it from moving.
To stop. Yeah, I was going to break it back.
So that's a reactive force.
Right.
Okay. So that's the kind of a difference into it. Now, with that reactive force or that stability, we have to start much lower intensity. So you have to kind of start way down the line. Now, coming back to, away from Matt's question, coming back to what we were talking about with muscles that are inhibited and shut down, weakened from lifestyle, from injury, and one of those, of course, is the gluteus region around the lumbar hip complex. Particularly, people think about the gluteus medius and gluteus maximus as being primary ones involved with that. Now, what do people do when they, have those muscles shut down? They'll do strength exercises to try to get them working. But if they're inhibited, what will happen is that other muscles will come in and compensate because those muscles are being inhibited, either from reciprocal inhibition or because they're much weaker and you're trying to overload them as well. So there's several factors that may come into it.
Okay. All right. So you can take the athletic angle on this and kind of some corrective stuff for core, as well as you got the exec that's sitting on their butt all day, or someone sitting in their butt all day in the chicken farm of the corporate world.
Weakens that. Yeah. If you're sitting here all day, in that hip flex position here, that's just basically shutting that down, often facilitating or shortening the psoas region. Or the hip flexors, people refer to as hip flexors. Psoas iliacus is the primary one that we're concerned with there.
All right. So then let's take the sitting down one first. And how do we get that switched back on? How do we get that moving? What's a quick exercise to do for that?
Well, I wouldn't say any quick exercises, but because these are actually done very slow controlled. Part of the thing you've got to look at is that to initiate these muscles again, it's often a mind-muscle connection you have to regain as well. Okay. So people will do exercises using, I don't even know where it is right now. Those little mini bands. Put mini bands around the knees and do exercises. That's the next step up.
Right.
Okay. So what we got to do is I'll adjust the camera angle here a little bit more onto the floor angle.
Yeah.
I hope I can do this without cutting you off.
Okay.
Let me see. How's that looking? I think I'm in the right direction. Let's see.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Perfect. Okay. So one of the ones we want to look at is you can hear me okay, right?
Yep.
Okay. So the one we want to look at here is the glute minimus. Sorry, the
Minimus.
glute. Sorry?
Minimus. I didn't realize that there was a
Medius.
minimus.
Medius.
Medius.
We're
Okay,
aiming for
right.
medius, but there's some minimus. Minimus is underneath that, kind of lying more deeply.
Right.
So
Right.
medius is one we want to work on. So I'm watching 3 videos here at the same time. I've got multiple videos going on. It's very confusing because there's different time frames.
Right, you know which one? Yeah, the one that's like same where you were at. That's the one.
Yeah, this one up here. Okay, so
Yeah.
what we're going to do is people have seen this exercise where they come down. I'm going to have to lift my head up a little bit because of the headphones, but normally your head is rested, and they know this one here where you're lying with your knees bent at this angle here. Okay,
Yep.
there's probably a better angle
Okay.
to see where I'm at here. Okay, so from here, people know this one here where they're lifting the knee up.
Okay.
Now, problem with that is if we have inhibition and weakness there, what's going to happen is you're going to get compensation, and you probably can't see too well in the video, but people will roll and compensate for that. So you'll see that hip roll back a little bit as I go to bring my knee up. So what I want to do here is I place my hand on that hip through the iliac crest here, slightly roll that hip forward, just slightly, and I'm going to slowly, and I'm talking 5 seconds, bring that knee up, focusing on controlling that glute. My mind is inside the joint, so I'm trying to roll that joint around without moving the rest of my body, without getting anything else involved with that movement and compensating. So often people will find that they can't get very high to start with without getting compensation, where they'll, basically roll with it. Okay. So what we want to do here is isolate it into that region. I'm a little tight today because of the training I've been doing. So, and then I'm going to slowly bring it back down again, and coming down 5 seconds. So, as I said before, this is not a quick fix. It's a very slow movement. I'm trying to focus on isolating into that gluteus, particularly the glute medius.
Gluteus medius, right?
Medius, yeah. So the glute medius is kind of where my focus is right now, and it's probably even a good idea to look at that on a anatomy chart or look it up online, just to see you can kind of mentally focus that muscle. And you can see I'm very slowly bringing that movement through, keeping this
5
kind of
seconds
fixated.
Up, 5 seconds down.
I'm probably doing a little bit faster right now just for demonstration purposes, but you want to really slow it, control mind-muscle connection there.
Okay.
And this is going
to... I just want to interrupt this fantastic transmission because we have actually Ann Shivers joining us from 40,000 feet, I believe. She couldn't hold back just for a few hours. She had to jump on. So,
that's costing like $10 a minute.
Yeah, there we go. The amount of data that's going through. So you had this thrust, so sort of a move first. So you thrust like a thrust first for the pelvis, and now you're doing that 5 seconds up, 5 seconds down. Yeah. But
so I'm fixating that pelvis slightly forward. So if anything, I want to be slightly forward, just so it prevents me from rolling back. Also, the lever angle allows me to get better leverage onto that glute medius. Okay. So for repetition-wise, we're looking at 10 to 20 repetitions. Build it up. Don't kind of try to have to do it all at once. Now, as a beginner, I'd suggest doing one side and then doing the other side. Next time you do it, start with the other side and then go back this side, because this bottom side is also working to stabilize as I'm doing this. So you will fatigue on the other side just as quick. So it's good to alternate which side you start with.
So you would do 3 on each side?
You could do 1 set on each side.
1 set. So 12.
You're not trying to train for strength. You're not trying to train for fatiguing the muscle. You're trying to reawaken it for the next step. Yeah. So when we go into the next step, it's a little bit more awake, a bit more stimulated, or less inhibited, I should say even. Yeah. And then we can look at, now we can go in and do some strength work on that, and it's going to fire up. So 1 set, 20 repetitions is kind of ideal. Now, what I normally do here, in this case, is for beginner, I'll go from left, then do right, and then I'll go down and do the straight leg version, which I'll show you right now, and then do the right on the straight leg version. Now, once you get more advanced, what's really interesting to do is you do your 20 here and 20 here straight away, and you'll really feel that burn going on in there, okay? Now, you're not
Right.
necessarily looking for the burn. It's just going to happen. It's not something you want to aim for necessarily.
Right.
But you
right.
will feel that deep burn going on in that muscle because of the amount of repetitions you're doing. So the straight leg
20.
version, yeah, up to 20 repetitions. I mean, beginners I find some beginners can only do 4 or 5.
Right. Right.
When you do it properly.
Okay.
This is
All
one
right.
exercise you don't cheat. Form and technique is 101%, not just 100%. It has to be 101%.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. And Anne wants to know if you're wearing Lululemon, mate.
No, I'm wearing Helatech. So Helatech is a brand from Poland. So this is Helatech.
Oh.
So it's actually a
Helatech.
Polish brand, and they're primarily tactical gear.
Well, of course. Okay.
I've got a wholesale account with them, so sorry, Anne.
Yeah, ready at any moment. All right.
Okay, so the straight leg one. The straight
Yep.
leg one, emphasis here is actually on the gluteus maximus. Now, emphasis will get involved with the gluteus medius and stabilization from the glute minimus, okay? But our emphasis on this one is going to be a little bit more glute max. Secondary would be glute medius, and then third would be glute minimus. So from here, what I'm doing with my foot here, if you can see my foot, I'm actually turning the toe downwards slightly.
Yeah. Downwards. Okay.
Yeah, I'm exaggerating right now, but I've got it tipped down
Right.
maybe 15 degrees.
Right.
And then
Okay.
I'm again placing my hand on here, on my hip. I'm not going to do too hard here. I'm not worried about rolling forward and back on this one. But you don't want to. Make sure you stay straight, but it's not going to happen normally. What's going to happen here is, as you lift this up, I'm focusing on moving in from that joint here. Okay? So
Yep.
as I'm moving from that joint here, I don't want to see this hip, the top of the iliac. I don't want to see that roll over or up. So I'm only moving from this joint here.
Yeah. Laterally.
Yep,
There's
straight
no
up.
rotation.
Keep it in
No
line.
rotation.
It's all in
Keep it
line.
in line.
Keeping that foot angled down. So I'm not, when I come up, I don't want to angle my foot up at all.
Right.
So I'm just going slowly through that movement. Again,
Got it.
normally, I mean, benefit of video, I'm going a little faster, but normally you're going to go
Okay.
5 seconds up, 5 seconds down. Very controlled, slow movement. And it's going to burn like a
mother.
MF. Yeah.
Right. And you reckon you could only get about 5 of those babies going?
Well, normally
Maybe.
people, I mean, like someone who's really inhibited may get 5
Yep.
repetitions. You
Right.
want to build up to 20. So everything's going to be, for
Okay.
this stuff, it's about 20 repetitions.
Okay.
You ready
And
for the
you had
last
to
one?
do this.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
yeah, go on. Kill us.
No, you go.
Finish us off. So
Okay.
how often would you have to do this in the week or a day kind of thing?
Just, well, normally I use it before training, obviously, because you want that kind of stimulated and corrected before you start kind of loading that. If you're
Right.
not training, I find once a day is enough. Unless you're someone who's sitting on the butt all day, like for 10 hours, you might want to do it again at nighttime.
Right. Okay, good. Because if you're,
Depends on your schedule.
one of those workers, I mean, getting the flat floor can be tough for them, or they're a bit embarrassed about it. They can do it in the morning and then at night kind of thing.
Unfortunately, people watch too much TV, so maybe when they're watching TV, this is something they can do.
Perfect. Right. Or watching anything. Yeah, at home.
Okay.
Whatever you're into.
Porno, whatever.
Okay. Yeah, right. Okay. Nothing left for the imagination. All
It
right.
might let you go too fast. You might be doing. Okay, so
yeah, enhance your
next
sex
one we're
life.
going to go into
Right. Well, this
This
looks
is more-
talking about sex life.
doggy style. Okay.
Yeah, don't use so, of course. Right.
You
Okay,
go
so
with it.
yes, you might have mentioned it. Okay, go on.
Okay, so from this position here,
Right.
what we want to do here is we're going to see my knee here stays at roughly 90 degrees. So I'm not trying to flex or bend my knee around, which I probably can't do at the moment with my knee, but I want to come up and I want to think about pushing that foot into the ceiling, keeping it 90 degrees-ish. As you can see, I need to
Well,
adjust it.
that looks like a bitch.
Now, I'm going to bring it down just quarter of the way. Same thing
Yep.
with the speed here, and slowly bring
Right.
it up. So there's a couple of things I've got to show you on this, though, when I'm doing this. I'm going to have a lot more bracing going on through the core.
Right. So, okay.
I'm having to
set that up
stabilize
beforehand.
through here more,
Yep.
because what I don't want to see is any extension in the lumbar spine. So
Right.
when you're doing this one, it may help to have someone there to help you with this one. You know, this
Right.
is why, you know, working with someone like Matt one-on-one as well,
Yeah.
going into the facility is really great, because you get that hands
Yeah.
on. But I mean, if you've got someone working with you on video too, can help, is that lumbar
Yep.
spine. You don't want to get into compensation. You often see that in people doing bird dog. So bird dog is
They'll
done.
tend to arch it or something.
Yeah, bird dog is
the
this,
bird dog.
but you'll see.
Yeah.
I'll try it. You know, that people will.
Yeah, they'll start
really
doing this thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
this is really good pre-training also for going and developing into, you know, doing the bird dog and other exercises related to that. So
Yep.
what we're focusing on there again is extension, a lot more on the glute maximus. So
yep,
high percentage is glute maximus, and the other muscles involved there are just stabilizers with the glute medius and minimus. So they only really stabilize them. So the emphasis there is glute maximus, and it's to gain control. So you're not trying to strengthen that right now. All you're trying to do is regain that connection, and it's just as much the muscle working as your mind working, focusing on that movement.
keeping form.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you have doubt, slow it down. Just you can limit the range of motion. If it's too hard, just go a little bit less. You know, for all 3 exercises, just do shorter distance. It's not about the distance; it's about control.
Got it. Okay.
Any
All
questions?
right. So
Matt's got anything?
Matt might have, but I'm thinking. So we've got 3 sets of exercises there. The first one about 20 reps. The second 2, good luck if you can get to 4 or 5. Keeping form is key. And you're doing these, ideally, if you can do it in the morning or at night. And if you're in front of the TV, great way to use your time. And this will wake up the gluteus medius, the gluteus maximus. And 7 days a week, 5 days a week, Monday to Friday, or anything like that, Pete? If you're sitting down
it can be
most
done.
of the time, Monday to Friday.
This is so low intensity. So I'm looking for my band here in a moment. This is so low intensity that it can be done daily, multiple times a day if you want. So it's not very high intensity. So recovery is not going to be an issue. And today's the day my band goes missing.
There we go, always. And if you're doing this, you'll be able to, it's going to help you with like lower back pain, any other form of pain, or is it mainly lower back?
Lower back is one factor, knees and ankles as well. So I'm looking for the band and I don't know where the heck it's gone.
Where it is? Right.
Well, it was, put it this way, it was here. I found it.
The dog's taken it, or one of the
Cats.
2 dogs and 5 cats? Yeah.
Found it.
Yeah, it's probably kitty cat. All right.
No doubt.
No doubt. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so the low intensity on that, you can do it daily. I mean, I actually recommend it daily if you can.
Okay.
We talked about, you know, trying to do some movement every day.
Yep, yeah.
So this is something you can do every day as part of your movement programming. So
At
do this,
home,
go for a walk.
You don't even need a gym. Right.
No, all the stuff you don't need a gym. Now, these mini bands you can buy online from multiple sources. This one was from Perform Better, but you can buy them on Chinese like Wish now for like $1. So
that site's amazing.
Yeah.
You introduced me and Ian to that. Amazing. All right.
I mean, for small stuff like this, it's really worth it. And the thing is, I've had the Wish bands, and no difference. I mean, most of these bands come from the same factories anyway, or the same molding techniques anyway.
Right.
And all we're using is for control, you know, controlled activation exercises, and not like the strength bands where we're doing weight resistant exercises with them. They need to be very high quality. So it's a little different story. So if this pops when I'm doing an exercise, no big deal.
Okay. So let's do it.
So the mini band, this is more now moving into activation. So we've gone from control drills, moving into activation. So we're going to go through the same sequence, similar sequence.
Yeah.
The tempo application is slightly different. So what I like to do with this one here, so again, we're doing that knee up, okay? Now you've gained some control there. What we're looking at doing, or not doing, is we've got control. We shouldn't need to move that hip anymore, okay? That's under control. We're going to slowly bring the knee up. Now, we're not doing 5 seconds up. We want to come up. This is a heavy-duty band, but we're going to come up under 1 second, 1 or 2 seconds. We're going to hold it at the top for up to 5 seconds. So beginner may want to do it for 1 second and then come back down. So you might do 1, 1, up and down. But as you develop more strength and control, and strength is the factor here, then you can hold it longer at that isometric position at the end range without rolling back. So no rolling back. So you'll see people doing this all the time. They come up and you can see my hip roll back. if you're having a problem with that, you can actually lie against the wall. So lying your back against the wall there will stop you from rolling and kind of give you a feel initially to get the movement down, and then move away from the wall once you get that control of the rolling under control.
Right.
So this one again, up to 5 second hold at the top.
Yep.
And back down again. Then we do the same thing with this one. Because we're using the band,
Yep.
we aren't going to have one knee up like we did on the other one. Again, slightly angle that toe in as you come up.
Wow.
You want to slightly angle that toe up, okay? Up,
Gee, how many of these do you reckon
hold.
the average punter can do?
If you're doing a 5 second hold, probably 5. The
5.
time under tension is going to be around about 30 seconds anyway. Because if you're doing up, hold for 5 and down, 5's 25 seconds plus the one up and down. So you're looking at 30 plus seconds just for that, for time under tension. If you get better at it, you can do more repetitions.
Yep.
Okay, so this is a pretty heavy band. This is one of the heavier ones, the grey one. Okay, so then we're going to look at 2 versions for the next one, which is, you know how we did this one for the glute maximus.
Yep.
That's the gain control. Now we've got control. Now we can start kind of exercising in a different way, which is being on your back. From here, again, you know, that we'll get into the TVA core stuff in a moment, but feet angle here, about 90-degree bend at the knee, so I'm going to bring it out just slightly. So when I want to be is at the top of the movement, I want that 90 degrees.
Yep.
Okay.
Right, got it. Yep.
We don't want to roll up either. See, I'm rolling up here. We don't want that either.
Yeah.
I want to lift from the glute, maintaining this brace so my lumbar spine stays fixated. I'm lifting from the glutes. And my emphasis here is the glutes together. So I'm like squeezing in and grabbing my glute this way. So it feels like I'm squeezing. So from here and then down. So as you're doing this, you got to make sure your knees don't cave in.
Cave in? Yeah.
Yeah, so here the people will cave in or they'll go out too far.
Wow.
Okay,
Right.
so you want to maintain that alignment as you're going through that. Now you can hold for 5 seconds at the top and come back down. Now, to make it a little bit more interesting and get a little bit more glute medius involved, you can put the band on over your knees. So I've got the band on here.
Yeah.
It's just above my knees. Doing the same movement again in the same way gets a little bit, a lot more involvement, recruitment of the entire glute complex.
Right, everything.
So I'm focusing on squeezing the glutes.
Maximus, and you're squeezing them. You're going up, you're getting straight, and you're squeezing your butt in.
And you can hold it again up to 5 seconds at the top.
Right. About 5 of those again?
All these can be 5 to 10 repetitions in that range.
5 to 10.
If you're holding for 5 seconds, you're going to find it will be a lot less reps.
Right, yeah, okay. All right, sweet. So, I mean, that stuff's pretty simple, right? And like the band, the ferret band, or the band, what's the band called for people to order on Wish.com?
Look up mini band.
Mini band on Wish.com.
And I wouldn't look
for China.
And I wouldn't look for anything less than medium.
Right,
like a medium strength.
Intense strength.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, the lower level ones are pretty low. So most people will start at medium. This is actually a very high one, which is probably a little bit less high now because it's been stretched out a little bit.
A bit, yeah.
This one's This one's probably about 5 years old.
Oh wow, okay.
But this is from Perform Better in the US.
Perform Better, okay, all right.
Maybe.
No, actually,
one of those. It was either Perform Better or one of those other businesses.
All right, and they're pretty cheap, yeah? It's like, if you're Wish, it's going to cost you, just a few bucks?
$1.
What? Jeez.
In the US,
it's probably going to cost $5.
Well, shipping's, I think, $1 or $2. And then in the US, I think they're selling them for about $5 each.
$5 each, right, okay. So, all
4
right.
or 5.
Okay, so these are exercises that are great for the person that's sitting down in that bad posture position all day. As you said, sitting down is becoming the new smoking as far as causing certain cancers and a whole lot of other chronic diseases that studies are starting to show. So this is a great way to avoid that, and you're just doing it perhaps once in the morning, once in the night. The first exercise is about 20 reps, the other is about 5 if you can do them. Keep form, and you do that once in the morning, once at night, or any time during the day, but let's say once in the morning and once at the end of the day at least, when you're doing nothing, you're watching TV, then you're sorted for keeping a pretty trim sort of core strength, yeah, or support.
Well, yeah, mainly kind of reactivating those glutes. Another factor
Right.
towards this, though, is looking at the muscles that may be inhibiting it. So we have a thing called reciprocal inhibition. So
Right.
reciprocal inhibition means that if I contract my bicep, there's a neurological function occurs that will actually shut down and relax my tricep. So if this is firing and my tricep isn't relaxing, I can't make that movement. Okay.
Right.
So when this muscle is contracting, this muscle is relaxing.
Yeah.
It's called reciprocal inhibition. Now,
Got it.
if the antagonist, so this is the antagonist to the tricep, so the antagonist muscle is facilitated or shortened, tightened, which is we're talking about before with the psoas and iliacus, particularly, can be rectus femoris, because the hip flexor is made up of primarily the rectus femoris, iliacus, and the psoas. Sometimes people call it the iliac psoas, but it's actually 2 different muscles. And so that hip flexor has to be inhibited to or neurologically lowered so that you can get that glute firing properly. So maybe if you find that you are very facilitated in the hips, you might want to do specific hip stretches to shut down. So some of the research, this is where it's been manipulated and wrongly taken out of context, is with stretching. So last time we talked about how, first time we did a thing, we talked about how important stretching is and how flexibility training. So this is where this comes into it, because what we're going to use flexibility for here, or stretching, particularly static stretching for, is to shut down the muscle. That's the purpose of it, is to help us kind of lower the neurological activity in that muscle so that when we go to engage the other muscle, it's not being shut down by a tight muscle.
Right.
Let me show you.
Okay.
I've got old man's knees, so I'm going to grab a pad here. No, I've got Sasha knees, the dog knees.
Sasha knees, the dog knees.
Yeah, she killed my knee the other week. Okay, so come back. I'll go this way a little bit better. That's the knee that hit sore. Okay, so you can see the hip here, right? I'm sitting in a squared up position here. It is actually a good idea to use a pad underneath your knee here anyway. So one of the things people do to stretch your hip flexors is they'll kind of go forward and do this stretch, which is entirely a waste of time. I'm compensating. I'm actually not getting any true stretch in the hip flexor mechanism we want. So from here, this is where the glute comes into it again. From here, I'm sitting straight, and what I'm focusing on, I'm going to exaggerate it. I'm tilting my pelvis underneath me, keeping my body upright, thinking tall as possible, and squeezing that glute. So I'm squeezing that glute, pushing through, holding that stretch into that hip flexor, and getting that pre-stretch. Now, I don't want to lean forward too much. I can take it forward maybe 1 or 2 degrees, and that's about it. And I'm holding that stretch there. Get the stretch in there.
Yep.
And I want to hold that. Now, what I also can do, and you probably can't see on the video too well, is I'm going to bring my hand up, and I can give a reach with my palm out like this. Reach up. And I'm actually going to reach for the ceiling, so I'm in that fascial connection as well. So I'm creating that lengthening through that connection. And now I can feel this all the way up through my abdominal region as well. And you remember the psoas muscle attaches into the lumbar spine, but it's that whole fascia connection as well. So all that fascia interlines in there. So it's not just the muscle we're worried about, it's that fascia pull as well. So by taking that palm up, holding it, squeezing the glutes.
Complex. Yeah,
it gets a little bit more complex. But if you just focus on one stretch here, holding that for a minimum of 30 seconds up to 2 minutes, that's the part of the problem, is people don't hold stretches long enough too. So we hold it for 30 seconds to 2 minute period, depending on how good you are and how much you feel in it and so forth. Then what we're going to see there is when you're doing this and then you go back to do the glute work, you may find the glute work a little bit better because of the fact that you've shut down that inhibiting muscle, or you've lowered the neural activity in the inhibiting muscle that allow you to get the glute fired up a little bit better.
Got it. Okay. Whoa. So, I mean, I'm sort of setting a theme for this week around making better choices. This is obviously a pretty good choice to make when you're sitting down all the time. And you know how we're sort of like trying to get movement happening throughout the day. I mean, if you're not, you want to make sure that these particular muscles are kind of like waking up and, you know, that or the other one's going to sleep for different reasons, like you said, and that these exercises at least give you that point where you don't have, I mean, are you going to improve things, or are you just going to create a good platform that tends to dissipate if you're sitting on your butt for too long?
The control drills is really giving you a platform to build up from. You're going to have to do a lot of
Right.
work after that, you know, like the glute activation and the glute strengthening work that Matt would be kind of
Right.
going into.
Right.
So what do you think about it? Like you made an important point about, you know, making the right choices and moving.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what you want to do is, some people have jobs that do move,
Yeah.
but they may move a constant same pattern. So what often you
Same
need
patterns.
to do is
That's what it's about.
counterbalance that. So
Right.
in the old, this is going back in the old days, you know, because we're old guys. So remember a checkout counter at the supermarket, they used to do this all day, pulling the items
Yeah.
across,
Right.
okay, all day
Right.
doing this.
Right.
And you'll
Yeah.
see they used to be all facing the same way. Now they actually alternate.
Right.
And reason for that is they get the person to come onto a different tilt, and then they start working the other
Rotate them.
way. So what we used to have to do with back patients, if they were working that kind of job, was if they were doing this all day, going this
Do
direction,
the other way.
we had to
Right.
counteract it with this direction. Now they
There
got a
we
little
go.
smarter, and most, well, here in New Zealand and the US, I've seen a lot of supermarkets now have tills facing both ways,
Right.
and they actually alternate the staff and they rotate the staff on those tills facing different directions, and it lowered the incidence of lower back pain for those staff
Right.
members. So
Right.
counteracting the activity you're doing, if you're doing a lot of flexion, then you want to make sure you do some extension work to counteract that.
Got it. Okay. So, I mean, not only you keep moving through the day, you know, and you can have your different apps that tell you to stand up, sit down, your stand up, sit down desk, but you're going to activate those areas to have that platform ready, especially if you're going to start to build. So you've got to do that first. And I've seen Matt kind of help me switch on some things before I start to do the exercises. And then if you've got, so this is going to counteract you having any sort of perhaps back pain issues in the future. Or for an athlete, what's it going to help them with? Just once again, providing a good platform for them to really go and build the other muscle areas that engage in those particular muscles.
Yeah, well, for most athletes, the glutes, for a lot of most sports, and I'd say most sports, the gluteus area, that whole hip area, is your powerhouse.
It is. It's big, right?
Yeah, it's the largest muscle in the body.
Muscle. So there we go. Use it.
So if you're looking at the function for an athlete is that it kind of goes into what's Anne's whole business with the ageless athlete too. Not only will it improve their performance, improve the time they can perform down the line many years, because it will decrease the potential for injuries. The glutes are something you'll see in old people, flat butt.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
If you take one thing away from today, if someone's aging right now and they're getting older, work your ass off, literally.
Work your ass off.
Work your ass like you're working your ass off. And if you're only going to do one thing, work those glutes like you've never worked them before. If you're only going to do one thing. Now, ideally, you want to do a whole lot of other stuff too, which, you know, like what I do. But, you know, the glutes is really important foundation. When you're doing a lot of glute work, you're going to tie in some of that core work. Core work is essential as well. I mean, all that stuff, everything's essential. But one thing we see in the elderly is that glutes just fade away.
Got it. Yeah. So if, as I said, I mean, if there's one thing you need to do is keep those glutes strong, and I've got Matt here saying, you know, 20 horsepower or 500 horsepower, it's kind of like the glute's going to play a big part in that, being the biggest muscle in the body. So you want to, you know, use it or you're going to lose it. Not only that, you'll start to lose other things, especially if you've been sitting down at a day job for so long. You'll want to start waking that stuff up. Otherwise, like I said, it's becoming the new smoking. I mean, that's a pretty big call, right? So, all right.
I've got another step for you if you want.
Oh, shit. Okay.
I can keep going all day on this. I mean, for glute, just serious. I've got 20, 30 sequences you can go through, but I'll just show you one more sequence of the cable system. So people have floor. We don't need any apparatuses, okay? Just floor what we were doing before with the control drills. Nothing needed.
Right.
Next step was activation with the band, okay? So you just need to buy a band. Now, people who are going to the gym now, they have access, not particularly to this cable system, but they will have some access to a cable, okay?
Right.
And often you'll see in the gym these things here, which are basically ankle straps. Now, you can buy these pretty easy on eBay as well, or probably on Wish as well, but support eBay. But
right. I wonder why.
so ankle straps, most gyms do have them though. Often they'll be kind of padded inside as well. So if your gym doesn't have them, then maybe find a better gym. And then what we're going to do is I'm using a step here only to make it a little bit easier as far as clearance goes, but you don't have to have clearance. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing here in a moment is I'm going to be doing some glute extension work and glute medius work, okay? But being on here allows that foot to free flow without too much bother from the actual floor getting in the way here. Now I'm going to try to change the angle of the camera just a little bit for you. Okay, so this may be a little bit better at this angle, I don't know. Yeah, probably is going to work a little bit better. Okay, so what I do is I'll just do one side at the moment. So I'm going to hook this on here. And I'll take this down a little bit. I won't go too heavy on this to start with. This machine's actually run off air compressor, so it's a little bit different to your average machine here. But most people only want to start with the first plate on a weight stack if they're using a cable crossover system.
Right.
Okay. If you can afford it, buy a Kaiser. Fantastic machine. Okay.
How much do they cost?
In the US, about $6,500 US in the US.
Okay.
But they're made in US, Fresno, California. So,
okay. Huh.
If you don't mind paying California taxes. Okay.
Right.
So the sequence that we can go through here is, first one we can do the glute maximus or glute minimus. I'll vary the way I start this depending on what else I'm going to do with the sequence here, because there's multiple sequences here. So the first thing we can do here is I'm stabilizing on this leg. Now to help my balance a little bit initially, I can use the machine or hold on to something to stabilize me a little bit. Once you get very effective at it, you can actually stabilize with your own body weight. Now what's going to happen there is, okay, yeah, we're working this side, but this side's going to work just as hard stabilizing.
Okay.
So we're working both sides. One side's getting work stabilizing, the other side's working in a standard contraction.
Right. So you're sort of going out and then around. You're going across the other leg.
Yeah, I'm going across the other leg. So I'm trying to show you here. I'm going across here and back out again. But like we were doing on that control drill before, I'm coming out to a point where I'm not lifting the hip up or anything like that. I'm keeping this all level. So I'm not going out that far. I can feel that in my
Which muscle's that? Oh, seems like you're frozen up there, Pete. Oh, there we are. I think we got you back.
You back? Sorry, there was someone calling me.
Okay.
Okay. So from here, we're talking about this one. Now, the next one I'm going to go into.
Oh, they're calling again. They want you. Don't you hate it when that happens? Like, stop calling me. Okay.
Yeah, no.
All right.
You think you get the hint the first time, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Well, it's actually my sister, so it's probably pretty important. So from here, I'm turning around.
Yeah.
I'm going to face this way away from you. I'm keeping my toe pulled up. My toe's pulling up in the air.
Yeah.
And then I'm taking this leg back slowly, focusing on that gluteus again, not compensating with the lower back. I'm letting this drag me. Yeah, so I'm letting that leg drag forward. I'm coming straight back on it like this. But nothing in here.
Okay.
So again, you'll do this like a strength exercise. So you might only do 10 repetitions You know, like
Right.
maybe a 2-1-2-1 tempo. That's 2 seconds up, hold for 1, 2 seconds down.
Yeah.
So you're doing about 10
Got
of
it.
those to get into that. Now, what you want to do, which is something which is tying into, we were talking about muscle slings before a little bit, is often people have a deficiency, and I kind of use that word broadly, but a deficiency in the hamstring.
Yep.
And also integrating the hamstring glutes together. So I like to do this one, which is much harder than people think, is we divide this into 2 stages. Let me know if you can see this very well on video, but I'm taking that leg back into extension. Once I'm in that position and my knee's behind my stabilizing knee, I go into a leg curl.
Oh, God.
So I'm getting the hamstring involved, come back down, and back out again. So I'm dividing it into 2 movements. 1, get the glutes involved, hold the glute, pull the hamstring.
Right.
It's a really great exercise to get that hamstring woken up. I can't tell you how many people I've come across that. Okay, the glutes don't work, but neither does the hamstring. They get their glutes working, but they forget about the hamstring.
Hamstring, right. So the leg
That's
curl's
why I
great
like
for that.
That's why I like this machine over here, which is the glute ham raise, so much. So,
Right.
if you're going to do all 3 of these exercises, I suggest you start with just extension.
Yeah.
Then go to lateral.
Lateral at the front, across both legs.
Yeah, and then you come back to extension and then curl.
And then curl, right.
Extension, curl, yeah. So that would be the sequence I'd go into with that, and that will really get that working up. Now, if you need to, you can go across body as well, this way.
Right.
So we're coming across. And actually, I had a friend who was actually one of the CEOs for airline here in New Zealand.
Yep.
And one of the common injuries they had with passengers was groin strains or adductor strains and stuff like that. And people were pushing their bags along as they were queuing up, and they were pushing their bags along like this and getting groin strains.
Oh, wow.
So there's a kind of a weak area too coming in through here. Now, the adductor isn't necessarily an adduction, but it is kind of a nice way to kind of get that muscle working up before you integrate that into its proper function, which is involved with hip extension and stabilization of the knee. Right.
Okay. All right. You know, it's amazing. We're going to have to wrap this up too. I've got someone hammering me as well right now. I mean, these things are simple, right? They're not complex. And they don't take a lot of time. What they do take, though, is just that it's simple, just being consistent with it each day. And you're not going to get the returns on day 1. But as you sort of get to week 1 and then week 2 and then a month, you're going to start to notice differences. It's that compounding interest thing.
Definitely after a month.
It's got to be after a month, right?
Well, so for the control drills, I see people get improvement after a week on control drills.
Right. So, you know, and what difference are people going to start to notice, Pete? It's going to be obvious to them that they're getting the benefits.
They might get their nice, shapely ass.
If you're after that, okay.
One of the things, so it depends on what kind of symptoms they be having. They may find that fatigue, lower body fatigue may be less because the glutes are kicking in and helping to stabilize that. Lower back pain will be less. Now, it may not necessarily solve lower back pain because usually lower back pain is associated with a complex of issues coming in together. Right. But it's a factor. Then you're also going to find that, you know, less potential for injury later on as well. So that's going to, one thing that we focus on is injury prevention is number 1. Whenever you're training, everything's about injury prevention first. Yeah. And then the secondary goal of training is performance enhancement. But if you don't have that injury prevention first and you get injured, you got no performance enhancement.
You got no performance at all, right? Yeah.
You're going to end up going backwards all the time. So you're better off doing a little bit less work on the performance, a little bit more work on the prevention, and you get that consistency.
Beautiful. Okay. And you're keeping keeping active. You know, this is part of your regime to be able to keep active each day, keep that strength, keep that strong platform whether you're an athlete.
I train 6 to 7 days a week.
Or you're an exec. 6 to 7 days a week, right?
I train 6 to 7 days. Well, personally, I train that.
Right, you do, and I mean, for you, it's a part of other things that you do as well.
Yeah.
I think for, let's say, the exec, at least keeping a certain level. This is one huge one. It's simple. It's consistent. There's no real apparatus. Order for $2 from Wish, costs nothing. Delivered to your door out of China. It's simple. It's just being consistent with it and keeping active throughout the day. And this is part of being active throughout the day with the walking and everything else.
But remember, a workout could be 10 minutes. Okay, yeah, right. I do a longer session. I do a lot of stuff. I mean, for me, I do a lot of flexibility work. I do all this other stuff, my strength work, my cardiovascular type training, what we call metabolic training.
I mean, so it's part of your profession as well.
Yeah, it's part of my job. Yeah. My other job as well, which I've got multiple jobs, but per se. But for the executive, even if they just do 10 minutes one day, next day maybe go to the gym and do like 45 minutes.
Right.
Next day do 10 minutes. Next day do 10 minutes and then go back to the gym and then do maybe 45 minutes. So they don't have to do a whole big session every day. It's a matter of doing just a little bit every day.
Right.
And work on the stuff you suck at.
There we go. Right. A little bit of the sucky stuff each day as well, not just the good stuff. The good stuff, if it's easy, you might not need it. Where it sucks and it hurts a little more, just do a little bit of that.
Yep.
But it doesn't have to be that full hour. It's like keeping consistency and doing stuff throughout the day. And the, one movement consistently one way, you've got to support it with doing something the opposite way.
Momentum is the right word there, Wood.
Momentum. There we go. Yeah, it is too, isn't it? With the compounding interest.
Because the more you do, you get to build that momentum up and you just want to do more and more and more.
That's it. And you do as you get stronger. So it's getting that start. So if people want to hear more and see more, and with Pete and Matt and so on, join the Heal.me community that's on this page as well.
I'm editing a video today too. I'm editing that video for you.
Woohoo! And functional, the FM testing.
Yeah, I got that for you. You got it, right?
Oh, when did you send it?
About 2 hours ago.
Oh, shit. Right. Woohoo! Great. I'm going to give that to Ed. Okay, so there's a bit of inside for those watching this. And Mark's joined at the last minute. Okay, Doc, you're gonna have to play back. Thanks, Pete. That was huge, mate. Thank you very much. Yep. I know you're pretty busy at the moment, so very appreciative you've been able to squeeze this hour in. And remember to enjoy life right here, right now. When, Pete?
Tomorrow. Today.
Today. All right. See you on the next one, guys.